Good morning, students. This is Diksha, your computer teacher. So today will continue with chapter method of communication. Okay, this topic you have already read in ninth. I've already started this chapter in our last online session. So we will repeat some key topics so that who didn't attend that they can get that. Okay. So first thing, I am just assuming from class ninth, you know that what is exactly communication, what are different method of communication, and as you know, the different method of communication are verbal, non-verbal, and visual. Now, what are basic definition of these communication? I'm assuming that you should know. Now, next, the first topic is your verbal communication. So verbal communication is basically any type of communication in which we use words. Okay, it can be oral, written. Now in oral communication, that in this chapter basically we will read that how can we improve communication skill. Okay, in your ninth class you read about that what is exactly oral communication, but in this we will read that how can we improve our oral communication skills. So first thing is your speech, that means the correct way of speaking using appropriate words, clear with pronunciation. So these things should be there in you. Then you can say that you have the skill of speech, okay, which is a skill of your oral communication. Now next skill is your vocabulary. So vocabulary is very important, that you should know new words and along with its meaning. This is not enough that you are knowing new word and you are using it just anywhere without actually judging it, that what it should be placed there or not. So it is very important to use the correct word at correct place. If you don't know exact precise meaning of particular word, don't use it. Okay, if you are using it without knowing the particular meaning, that or without knowing that what will be the effect or what will the outcome of using that word at that place, then definitely the skill with your oral communication is not good. Now next is rhythm. Basically rhythm is very important, that the way you are speaking. Suppose you are speaking to a public, if you will stop, you will don't have a rhythm, proper rhythm. If you give a lot of breaks, then definitely a person will anyhow lose interest in your communication or your content. Okay, so it is very important to speak in a rhythm. Fourth one is tone. So in which tone you are speaking, your tone is correct or not. When you are speaking to someone, you should speak politely. Normally listeners prefer or appreciates cheerful, anyone, not only listeners. Basically this is our human psychology or a human tendency, that we tend towards happiness. So where we will see that we can get some happiness or some cheerful or you can say pleasant things, human tends toward that. So while speaking you should use a correct tone. Now next is pitch. So pitch is basically refers to the loudness of your voice basically. So when you are speaking, suppose when you are speaking, the communication is being taken place between two people and who are standing within the distance of 1 meter only. Then if one of the speaker will shout aloud, then definitely that will be not considered as a good skill or good communication. So you should judge your pitch. So what are the tips to improve your oral communication? First thing is your read out loud. Make audio video recording of your reading. Take note of areas you need to work on. That means record it, listen it. You think you need to improve, take a note of that. Now next, talk to people in a manner that shows interest. If you will show interest, then only in return they will show interest to your content. Now next, take part in activities which involves public speaking. Okay, now next we have communication is written communication. It is also a part of verbal communication as it uses words. So what are the tips you should follow for improvement in this written communication? First is expand your vocabulary, learn new word, form sentence using these words, learn the spell word correctly, master English spelling using flashcard. So you have to, if you are writing a word, you should know the correct spelling of that word. Now the third one is read regularly. It gives you an idea of how to use word appropriately, improve your grammar and use appropriate tense, correct punctuation. Always write text keeping your audience in mind. That means whatever you are writing, it should not go beyond the knowledge of the audience. It should not seem like it is a very obvious thing for the audience. So you have to maintain the interest of the audience by writing the content in middle of this. It should not be over easy or too easy, and it should not be very hard to understand. Now there are multiple type of communication in written communication. First is intrapersonal, second is interpersonal. So intrapersonal is basically those kind of communication in which things are written for ourselves. That means here I am the sender and I am the receiver. Suppose if you're writing a diary, okay, then definitely you are writing diary for yourself. You don't share the diary. Everyone, if a person is habituated in writing a personal diary, then that person keeps the diary with themselves. So here he is the writer, he is the sender, as well as he is the receiver also. So other example of this kind of communication are, okay, that is when you appreciate something beautiful, rehearse a message intended for other. Suppose you want to say something to other, but you are rehearsing by yourself, and this is also kept up to you. So this kind of communication will come under intrapersonal, where interpersonal, so these two are different things. Interpersonal is basically communication between two people. Okay, any kind of written communication between two people will be considered as interpersonal. Now third is dyadic communication. So basically this kind of communication will take place between two people only, but via some electronic mean like email, or you can say telephone. There will be no direct communication or physical communication. There is a communication through either in telephone, you can say by text messages or by email. Now third kind of is small group communication. So it occurs only when there are more than two people involved. The number of people involved in this type of communication is small, which allow each partner to interact and converse with the rest. So basically, suppose you are writing a text for a group of people. That means you wrote and you showed it simply. So here their receiver is more than one. The communication is taking place between more than two people. Okay, but the group of people should be small. So this kind of communication will be considered as small group communication. Now public communication. So this type of communication takes place when one individual addresses a large gathering of people. When you are doing any kind of communication using with a large group of people, then it will be considered as public communication. Now next we will read function of verbal communication. So in verbal communication we have, what are the functions? Why do we use verbal communication? First thing is help in maintaining relationship. Now suppose when you are with your friend, if some kind of misunderstanding happened, then you can talk it out. So it will help you to maintain a proper relationship. That is, it is through verbal communication and other symbolic activity this relationship are developed and maintained. However we communicate verbally with another person, a group or audience, a relationship is initiated. Now next is help us organize complex idea and experience into meaningful category. That means people come and share their experience. This can be, with this we can get a proper meaningful output. The third is help us define reality. Fourth is help us think. Fifth is can be used to reward or punish. So these are the function of verbal communication. So now talking about non-verbal communication. So as you know, non-verbal communication basically includes sign languages, you can say, in which we don't use words. Okay. So in this, few things are: use a variety of appropriate facial expression while communicating with people. Try to make eye contact while speaking in classroom during presentation, discussion, etc. So in this way, you can make a proper communication. These are the few things you can follow to make your communication better along with words. Okay, that means you will use words, but along with word you can use facial expression, eye contact, so that your communication can be better. So treat this point, these are basic things that you should follow. Now talking about function and non-verbal communication. First, we use non-verbal communication to emphasize on verbal communication. For example, a head nod or head shake reinstate the verbal message of yes or no. So we can complement it with a sign. Next, we use non-verbal communication to replace verbal communication using behavioral that are easy recognized by others, such as wave, head nod, head shake. Now this yes, when you are saying yes ma'am, then you can simply nod your head along with the word, but you can replace the word also. Now if someone is asking did you understood, you can simply shake your head yes or no. Or simply if someone is telling you bye, you can say just wave your hand. There's no need to tell that word bye. That person will understand. Suppose in examination or you want to wish your friend, you can simply show a thumbs up so that they can understand that you are wishing them all the best. So in this way, some sign can replace words also. Now third function is we use non-verbal cause to complement or reinforce verbal communication. For example, if friend tell you that she got selected in one of the premium institute for further studies, you may explain, wow, that's great, I'm so happy for you, all the while smiling and hugging your friend. Here you are using non-verbal communication to complement that what you are saying. That means here what you did, though you replaced it, along with it you reinforced it, your particular words, okay, by changing by expressing it with your expression, your love with expressing your expression, or by simply hugging that your friend. Okay, so in this way you can replace and reinforce at the same time. Now third point is we use non-verbal communication to communicate emotions. For example, it is too easy to spot your friend is feeling sad. Her dropping shoulder, a body gesture would be indicating her emotion. So when a person is sad, you can simply see and know that that person is either not in good mood or he or she is sad by looking into body language. Okay, or you can say gestures. Now next is we use non-verbal communication to give feedback to other person during a discussion. If the audience is smiling and nodding, it shows that they agree with what speaker is saying. Certain hand gesture may indicate that the listener wishes to speak. Such stubble signals provides transparent information. So these are the thing these are the function of basically non-verbal communication. Next is non-verbal practices to follow during an interview. So what are the things you should follow in an interview? That is, maintain eye contact with the interviewer for few seconds at a time. With this you can show that you are confident enough with your personality and with your knowledge. Okay, next, smile and nod at appropriate time when the interviewer is talking. When the interviewer is talking, then only you have to give them some signs that you are listening to them. For that you smile and nod. Now next is be polite. Keep an even tone to speech. Don't be too loud or too quiet. Do not slouch while sitting. Relax and lean a little towards the interviewer so that You appear interested and engaged. Do not lean back. Now, leaning back means you have sat there comfortably and you are not that much attentive to your center. Now, next, relax. Okay, next is keep your feet on the floor and your back against the lower back of the chair. Be attentive to whatever interviewer is saying or asking. Do not interrupt your interviewer. Rest your arm on the chair or on your lap to look comfortable. Okay, so these are the things you should keep in mind while an interview about non-verbal communication. Okay, so please and that's all for today. Please do read this PDF, and if you have any doubt, we will discuss in our next online session. Thank you.